Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what promises to be another fantastic episode of the Canary Room. We have made the trip across the Emerald Isle to see a good friend here. For those of you who don't know this character, this man is John Barron. John is a 6 times gold medal winning at 3 different world shows Irish fancy canary breeder. Isn't that right, mate?
That's correct.
That is. Now, we first met in Florida. You can see perhaps the sun shining on us now as we're in Kilkenny and not, as I said on my post, Waterford, although I am staying in Waterford and John lives just across the river in Kilkenny. So we've put that right now, haven't we, mate? Like, we've solved all kinds of problems with that. So listen, we've got loads in store today. We're going to have a look at some of John's fantastic Irish fancy canaries. We are in the middle of the breeding season, so I walked into John's room before and I was like, my God, they're dead steady and it's really quiet. And now they've got me in here and they're thinking, what the hell is going on? So lots of advice, lots of things. John and I have been chatting already. Might have had a couple of pints of Guinness, not before we filmed, but last night. We've been chatting already, so lots and lots and lots of good stuff to pick up on. So you know what to do, everyone. Grab yourself a cuppa, sit back and enjoy the show. So John, we're here in your room, and it's I'm always impressed when I come to other people's rooms, and you were talking before about the size of it. It's brick built. You can see the outside of it here, and then you can see some of the cages inside. So, John, in terms of cages, how many are there? I can't count.
48.
48 cages.
Yeah.
And a couple of things to point out, and I know lots of viewers to the channel always look at other people's rooms and they listen to the advice and they listen to some of the things. And so a couple of things to point out. First thing is that your actual stock cages, your breeding cages, are sort of quite narrow, but narrow. quite tall. So why is that, John?
Well, the idea, they're a standard 12-inch front, 12 by 12 front, but I only have them 9 inches wide. They're wide enough to breed in, but I think it just keeps the birds steadier, for the show season and that. You can not train the birds in there, but they'll be steadier, they won't be going back to the back of the perch.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I noticed when I came in here was just how steady and calm everything was, and I was like, I've owned Irish, and mine weren't nearly as calm as these. Mine were perhaps a little bit flighty, shall we say? But I think that's important, isn't it? You've got the perches don't go to the full depth of the back, do they? No. So the birds have naturally got to come to the front.
Come to you,
yeah, which is
what you want in the show season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when we talk about the cages, you might just see just above our heads here, this is genius. Okay, so what John has in his room, as well as his stock breeding cages, is above there is a row of essentially show cages.
Yeah, they're custom built. A friend of mine built them for me, but they're basically the same size as a show cage. Yeah, give or take an inch or two bigger, just enough. And the birds can go in there for weeks at a time.
Yeah. So I think
so. It's just basically replicating the show cage,
Yeah. So you've created, both the environment and the cage. The perches are, the same distance apart. We can see here, you can take the fronts off them and clean in. You've got the seed hopper on the front. You've got the water thing on the front. Yeah, so that's slightly different to what it would be in a show environment. Oh, yeah. But actually, you can.
You don't need to worry about them drinking, feeding. No. But they'll get their training in there,
Yeah, and you were saying yesterday when we were talking, and we can see it. We've got a young cockbird in one of the cages now. When you've trimmed these down, these fronts down, you've done something very deliberately with the crossbar.
Yeah, I positioned the pouches in a way that when the bird is on it, ideally with Irish fancy, they have to be at the right stance, So the idea of it was, when they are like that, they're going to be looking over the bar. The bar is nearly in their island, so they're going to be to look out, they're going to be looking out over it. Like.
Yeah.
That's the thinking of it, but whether it works, we'll see.
Well, you know, I mean, the sort of the thought process behind it is really, you know, there's lots of things in John's room are. It's really, really clever. Because when you see the eye line of the bird and you see, it is pretty much level with that. So it's got to stand itself up. And as we know with all type birds, you know, that position in the show cage is what sets them apart, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, excellent stuff, mate. Well, that's a little look at the room. One of the other things, and we've got some young here in a sort of, you know, you can open these cages up and they're a long flight cage. And on the end of it, you've got a really interesting kind of all wire contraption.
It's just a little wire hopper.
Yeah.
Just built easy.
Yeah.
Easy build, just wire like. So the idea of I put it on straight away when you wean them, like just to get them going in and out, like.
Yeah.
Put something in there, small thing in there, like. They'll be in and out all day, like.
Yeah. So that training, that basically
that's training done.
Show training starts now, as soon as you weaned.
Yeah. Out of the nest, train.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we're gonna talk to John now about, you know, John and I judged together in Florida last year, so we're going to talk to John now about what makes a good Irish fancy. Stay tuned, everyone. So, John, it's breeding season.
Yeah.
It looks like you've had a decent start. You got some chicks away, which is always a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It is.
It's just to get them away, get them on the perch,
get them away, get them feeding themselves. And we've got a shot over here. You've got a hen in this corner with an absolutely outstanding cockbird, and she's being a little bit of a pain, isn't she? She's building, and
she built on one side in the first round, the nest. Now the second round, the other side on the ground, like.
Yeah,
she's not having any of it.
No, she's not. She doesn't want a nest pan, but she's chipped out. She's chipped out today. So we can get a little shot of this little. Maybe this is a future winner. Everybody, we'll find out. We'll find out, John. But when it comes to the birds, you know, with the Irish, I think when we talk a lot about type canaries, there is an obsession, certainly in the Fifes and same in the Norwich. And I guess it's the same in the Irish as well. It's about the head, and for lots of people, judges like you and I, you know, you look at the head and you look for a strong head to start with. So talk to us about a good Irish fancy, John. What should that head look like?
It should be good and strong. Like it has to just small rise, slight rise from the beak. Like, you know, you don't want a big curved head on the bird, like. But just want a nice break in it. Up above the beak, down the back, but you need a break in the back of the neck, break in the foot, all the way around. You need a break in the neck, like. Yeah. You don't want the head breaking. You see a lot of it, especially in yellow birds, the head breaking on the back there. Yeah. At the back of the head.
So like split at the back. Yeah. And that sort of
it's up at the top of the head, like, you know, the feathers are just breaking, like.
Yeah, and that split behind the eyes as well.
Split behind the eyes, and you get that on the yellow birds as well. That's another big fault, like.
Yeah. And then that sort of, you know, is size important in the Irish?
Well, with the cocks, like, you want a bit of length in the cocks, like, you do. Yeah. You know, nice. There tends to be a lot more type here, like. Yeah. They will. Yeah. Like, you want nice small birds, though. Yeah. Don't want big.
No, don't want big units of birds.
I don't think you want it in any breed. Well, some breeds, they breed for size. Yeah,
they do. And then I guess position is everything with the Irish, isn't it?
Yeah. You want a nice stance on them, like. You really do, like. Yeah. You know, you want them clean down through the legs everywhere. Just a nice, clean cut bird, typey bird.
And I guess that starts with your pairing, doesn't it? That breeding the showbird starts with your pairing and selection.
We can only pair what we think is going to work.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee.
No, God, no. If there was guarantee, it'd be boring, everybody. Yes. I tell myself that all the time. If you're guaranteed of doing fun, it would be absolutely boring. So, John, we're going to have a look at some of your pairings now.
Okay.
And you can talk us through, if you don't mind, why you put a particular bird together. I know that you've got some whites, you've got some cinnamons in as well this year, haven't you, for a little...
just a bit of fun.
Little bit of fun, he says. Little bit of fun. Let's talk about that fun now. We've got a pair here. We've got a couple of pairs that we're going to look at. But to be honest, one of the things which is obvious, certainly when I come into the room, is that they're they're like peas in the pod, aren't they? So the birds, which is what you want in a line of birds. And you mentioned before about, you've been working with this line of birds for a number of years. I think you had your first best in show in 2015. I think that was as a novice at Cork. So and you've carried on since then. I mean, he's very, 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 very modest, this chap, about his successes and achievements on the bench. We've got a pair here, John, and they are. It's a buff cock, but I had to double take everybody when I was looking at the buff cock because it's got some colour on it. It's got some colour on it. This bird, and there's a yellow hen on the nest now. She's on. She on eggs at the moment.
She is, yeah. She's not set yet. No, at the moment.
She's not.
On her third egg there now.
She's on a third egg, but not set. So this particular pair, John, what is it? What is it about these, and what's the hope? Apart from that, they'll breed you a shed load of winners.
I'd be hoping some nice yellows more so than out of this pair. Like he's a very rich buff cock. He's a 4th generation bird I got from a man called Tim Watson. So I got a bird from him in 2019, and this is the last of them now. That's the last of bird there of them, like, so. I'd be hoping for some very nice birds from them now.
Yeah.
You'd be hoping.
Yeah.
Like, especially yellows. Not so much buffs, because I think they'll be very rich. You won't be getting too many nice buff hens there, like, so.
Yeah. But you're looking for some decent yellows there, yeah. and he, you can see actually the hen. And the hen now is just, I think she's on the floor, we'll catch her. It's cracking head on her.
Yeah, nice.
Really, really strong bird. And you can see what you were talking about before, that kind of, that roundness and almost the sort of cut and the break right the way around, which I think is, which is important.
But they complement each other well. Sometimes it's not the best two birds, the two best birds in the shed, sometimes not the two of them to go together, like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it when you pair it, isn't it?
You can't pair best to best, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, no, and I think that's one of the things when we're selecting pairings, it's always that sort of, it's the balance, isn't it? It's what comes together with these things. Yeah. Now, what's interesting about the birds is they've got that sort of little bit of a rise on their back, haven't they? Is that something that...
Yeah. No, you see in there now, like, you get the break in the back of the neck, and then it should just come down then gradually.
Yeah.
It should run in sequence with the front of the body, like. Yeah. You're not going to, like. So it's the hollow back. Like.
Yeah. So you don't want that hollow back. No. You want that sort of slow taper down, and then balanced on the front as well. And that's the kind of perfect bird. Yeah. Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. Well, we've seen them. We'll have another look now at some of the others. We'll have a look. There's a white over here that's taken my eyes, ladies and gents. So we'll have a little look at that now, shall we? So behind us, John, no, not actually behind us, just to there, there's a pair. Your first big win, or first best in show was a self blue hen. You got a few things going on in the room this year, haven't you? Which which always fascinates me when I come into people's rooms. It's like, because I think as keepers and bird keepers, we're tinkerers, so we like to tinker. We like to play and have a little go. And you've got a couple of things going on with some fawn birds that you're trying to breed some fawns this year. We'll talk about that in a second. But nice little white and a clear behind.
Yeah, clear buff hen there and white cock. So the hope is, well, a few whites, but mainly to get buffs.
Yeah.
Try and breed some nice little buff hens from them now. Like.
Yeah.
That's the plan anyway.
That's the plan.
Whether it works.
The best laid plans of these things,
Don't always work out.
No. And what's one of the interesting things you've got here, John, is on the you got the front pans like I've got, but one of the interesting things you've got, I mean, you've got the sort of, the details of when the egg's laid, but you've got this little bit of string going on there. Now, do you want to tell us what that's about?
It's only a little bit of jute string. I hang it when I put the hens into the breeding cages. Once the hens start tearing that asunder, then I'll give them a nest pan. Like, until they don't touch it, they won't get a nest pan. Like, that's my thinking of it.
Yeah.
That's a sign when they start tearing and pulling and dragging at that, like,
yeah,
they're ready then.
Makes perfect sense, mate. Makes perfect sense. And the debate, we talked
just
about
a symbol, just to give you an idea, like.
Yeah, there's grit. There's grit on here. There is grit on here. The ongoing debate about to grit or not to grit, and you do take the eggs away as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So egg drawers behind us there with plenty of eggs in it to set. And your clothes ringing the birds. Is that right?
Yeah, it's compulsory.
Right. So in the Irish system, so it's a compulsory thing.
Owner bred birds.
Yeah. Good stuff. And so we'll have a little look now at couple of other pairs very quickly. So one of the things that you mentioned earlier was the dark birds, and you got some darks back in the room for the first time.
Back now this year.
Yeah, back. So we'll have a quick look at them. I've got some young out of them already, which is great. And also we'll have a quick look at the fawns and the cinnamons. See how you're getting on with them. Superb. Okay. So as with many of us, you've gone for double heartbreak here, mate, haven't you? Because not only are you trying to build whites, you're trying to build fawns as well. Yeah. So you've not gone just for a little bit of heartache. For years in the Canary room, we've had the challenge of building the cinnamon line and the disasters of that, and we're doing a white line this year, and that's going okay at the moment. But you've gone double bubble. You've gone fawns and cinnamons. So you've got a cinnamon cock here.
Is this cinnamon hen?
Oh, it's a cinnamon hen. Yeah.
And a
cinnamon hen. And
a
fawn and white cock here, and you're running him as a trio.
Yeah, he's running with a fawn and white hen as well.
Right. Okay. So
I know a lot of people say don't do the white ground to white ground, but done it last year. It worked okay.
Yeah. So you're giving it another go. So the fawn and white hen is down on eggs.
She's down on eggs again. Yeah. She jumped off on the first round. 4 full eggs. Jumped off a couple of days before the hatching.
Oh gosh.
So
breaks your heart, doesn't it? Absolutely breaks your heart. And so the fawn cock here and the cinnamon hen, she is yet to lay by the looks of it.
No, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So
no. She's slow.
She's slow. But there's plenty of time yet, mate. Plenty of time yet.
No difference.
And so what will that be for you then, John? Will that be the start of a sort of a line that you want to develop?
Not so much, no. It's not so much a line. It'll always be a clear line.
Right.
And then always, like.
Yeah.
But the likes of them are just have something different in the cover a couple of classes.
Yeah.
Just something different.
Okay. And I guess it's probably the same with the greens, is it? Yeah.
I had a line of greens before, but just like a lot of people didn't take much interest in the greens. Starting to come back into it there now, like.
Yeah.
But greens are nice birds when you get a good one, like. Really are.
Yeah. No, I always think so. It's funny because whenever I've seen, I remember judging in swords a few years back and seeing the rows upon rows of Irish fancy there. I mean, there were hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely hundreds of them. But I was really surprised at just how many were in sort of light classes. So from a classification perspective, John, it's obviously, with the Fifes and the Borders and the Norwich and all of those birds, they've all got slightly variances on classes. Similar kind of thing. I don't see many variegated birds.
No. You'd have the variegated yellow, variegated buff class.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be like light variegated, heavy variegated. It's just variegated, that's it, like.
Yeah.
Then you'll have your clear classes, buff and yellow.
Yeah.
You'll have your greens, blues, blue and whites. Cinnamons will just all in together.
Right.
All cinnamons go together.
So, and fawns within that as well.
Yeah, no, the fawns will have their own classes.
Right,
like,
okay.
So, So, the whites.
The whites go in there. So we can see that the white's got a beak full of nesting material there. So fingers crossed, mate. Look. Fingers crossed.
Get one or two, you'll be happy. Just something different.
Yeah, you will get more than one or two, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Well, you've already got more than one or two. So we'll have a little look at these young now.
Yeah.
And you can tell us what's in your magic mix, because I can see it. Looks delicious, to be honest. When this is a man who doesn't eat a great deal of vegetables, but his birds do. We'll have a look at that now. So I'm always fascinated, John, when it comes to people's rearing mix, and And no more so than now when John's just told me what's in his. So let's get with the stuff that we know. So we can see a shot of it here. So there's peas and there's sweet corn.
Yeah.
Okay? And then there's a dry egg mix in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, soak seed.
Soak seed? So you put soak seed in there as well?
Yeah.
Do you not feed the soak seed separately?
No, it goes in.
All goes in. Okay.
All that.
What else
Broccoli.
is in there? Broccoli. Yeah.
There's bee pollen.
Sorry.
Bee pollen.
Bee pollen.
Yeah.
So hang on a second. Are you running around after little bees,
No.
chasing them and getting the butt? You've got bee pollen in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about bee pollen, John.
My thinking of it adds a lot. I think it adds very good colour to the birds.
Right.
It is. You know what I mean? I think it does. It's very beneficial to them.
Right.
That's
Okay.
my thinking of it.
Okay. Well, listen. 6 times world champion. Who am I to argue with that? So bee pollen.
Bee pollen.
Anything else in there?
Brie Plus.
Right.
Brie Plus. It's only a kind of a fertility not kind of way, like just something like that. Like I don't use boiled eggs.
No.
Because if we're working all day, you'll be gone. You can't guarantee that they will go off on you very quick, like.
Yeah.
So I just use protein powder.
Right. Okay.
Just to bulk it up that way, like.
Yeah. So good. I mean, they look well on it, don't they? And they're munching away behind us here. So very good. Bee pollen, everyone. Bee pollen. To go and get myself some bees.
Get some bees.
Get some bees. Get some bee pollen. We'll give that a go too. Who knew? Who knew? Just when you were thinking that, John was a normal man who had a wonderful bird room and some amazing Irish fancy canaries, let me show you behind us. Because behind us, John, we've got heartache.
Yes.
We have heartache. So
Already.
So top cage, you've got a Goldie cock
The Siskin hen.
and a Siskin hen.
She's down on eggs now, so the next few days will tell a lot there, like
Yeah.
if she hatches or not. I haven't looked or went near her, like, so fingers crossed.
Yeah. And the Goldie's in and out the nest, isn't
He's
he?
in there, there's no bother on him. He just sits in there with her.
Yeah. So
He hasn't ate the eggs yet.
yet being the operative word.
Yeah.
And then we've got some more heartbreak here waiting to come. So we've
Pied
got
red pulls.
pied red pulls. So what have we got here? A couple of
Pied cinnamon pied cock and a cinnamon hen split for pied.
yeah.
And I got a cinnamon pied cock there and a cobalt pied hen. She's sitting on 6 eggs now, so
Right. Okay.
that's our second and first round we're blank, so hopefully.
Fingers crossed on this one. See, we're all the same. We're all cut from the same cloth. Whatever side of the
leave it
channel
alone.
we're on, we all go for heartache. Talking of eggs, John, and 6 eggs.
Yeah.
There's something spectacular happened in your room this year, isn't there?
Well, it was a hen. I got a 5-year-old hen and I got it off a friend of mine. He decided he wasn't keeping her because she was only laying a couple of eggs every year. So I took her and put her down. The first round was 5 eggs, 5 full, and the second round now she's on 7 eggs.
7 eggs from a 5-year-old hen. Where's that bee pollen? Oh, I've got too many kids. I don't need any more. I don't need any more. We won't be eating the bee pollen. Don't worry about that. So you've done well there, mate, with her. That is absolutely superb. So, John, before we wrap it up today, and thank you for your time and for your hospitality, mate.
You're welcome.
God love him. He's had to put up with me for what will be over 48 hours, and he's done a sterling job. You have done a sterling job, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
problem,
And to Mags and to Tig, who's drawn me this lovely picture. And your little fella, just for lending me you for the weekend. So I know it's always appreciated. Couple of things to finish off. It smells fantastic in here.
Yeah.
So you've got a special spray, haven't you, that you use? Which I'm gonna get some because it smells great.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not your deodorant, is it?
No.
It's a special spray. It's a Quicko spray. So we'll get a little shot of that in a second. But John, just before we go, advice for anybody thinking about starting with Irish Fancy. What would your sort of top tips be?
Like, pick what do they want to breed clears or specialise in something. I think from the start, I didn't. You had a mix of everything and anything, like colour-wise and stuff. I'd specialise straight away in something. Don't waste your time. You know what I mean? Trying to cover too many classes. I think specialising whatever you want, whatever you think you want, that's the way to specialise. Like,
yeah.
As in sourcing stock, stay away from car parks and shows.
Sound advice.
The ultimate. Like, I'd advise anyone 2 breeders. 2, maybe 3 at the most. And get 2 pairs off each of them.
Yeah.
The following year, when you need something else, go back to the same people. Otherwise, you won't have a line of birds. You won't end up with a line of birds. You'll just have a collection.
Yeah.
A collection of birds belong to everyone and anyone. Like.
Yeah.
So.
And breeding that line, I think it's evident in here, having the number of years that you've kept the birds, you can see that sort of quality of the stamp. But that doesn't happen overnight, mate, does it? No. It takes time.
A lot of people think, me probably included, when I first started, like, you'll just breed good birds. You don't.
No.
No,
it takes time, doesn't it? Yeah. It does take time for us. Well, listen, everyone, the lovely John, thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your hospitality. Thanks for your time. Ladies and gents, the Irish Fancy, it's our first time we've had the Irish Fancy in focus on the Canary Room. If you've enjoyed the show, hit a like, hit the comments below, and please share this. This is a breed of bird which is gaining greatly in popularity. It's a really, really beautiful, beautiful bird, and we've seen some outstanding specimens today, even though they're in their breeding clothes, not their show clothes. So listen, if you've enjoyed it, hit the like, hit the subscribe, you know what to do. Until next time, everyone, take care.